Story 1. The Creepy Customer. The first story Vanessa shared was about a customer who had sent shivers down her spine. It was a stormy night, and the relentless rain pounded against the windows, casting twisted shadows across the store. Vanessa was engrossed in organizing the shelves when she noticed a figure lurking in the corner of her eye. A man stood at the end of an aisle, his features obscured by the darkness. As she approached him, a chill ran down her spine. The man's eyes were empty, devoid of any emotion, and a sinister smile played on his lips. He spoke in a low, menacing voice, asking cryptic questions about the store's layout and operating hours. Vanessa's heart raced as she tried to maintain her composure, but the man's presence was suffocating. Just as Vanessa was about to call for backup, the man's expression shifted, his eyes narrowing with malice. Without a word, he turned and vanished into the shadows, leaving Vanessa trembling with fear. She never saw him again, but his haunting presence lingered in her mind, a reminder of the darkness that lurked within the walls of Walmart. In the days that followed, Vanessa couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every time she entered the store, she scanned the aisles, half expecting to see the eerie figure lurking in the corners. The memory of his piercing gaze and sinister smile haunted her dreams, and she found herself jumping at the slightest unexpected sound. As the weeks passed, Vanessa's unease grew, and she began to question whether the encounter had been a figment of her imagination. But the more she thought about it, the more convinced she became that the man had been real, a harbinger of some unspeakable evil that had chosen her as its target. One night, as Vanessa was making her rounds, she felt a sudden chill in the air. The hairs on the back of her neck stood on end, and a sense of dread settled over her. Instinctively, she turned, only to find the man standing just a few feet away, his eyes burning with a malevolent intensity. Vanessa's heart pounded in her chest as she stared into the abyss of his gaze. The man's lips curled into a twisted smile, and he took a step towards her, his movements slow and deliberate. Vanessa's mind raced, searching for a way to escape, but she felt paralyzed by fear. Just as the man reached out to her, a loud crash echoed through the store, breaking the spell. Vanessa whirled around to see a toppled display, and when she turned back, the man had vanished, leaving her alone in the eerie silence. Shaken to the core, Vanessa hurried to the security office, where she recounted the terrifying encounter. The guards listened intently, their expressions grave, and they immediately dispatched a team to scour the store for any sign of the mysterious figure. But their search yielded no results, and Vanessa was left with nothing but the haunting memory of the man's sinister presence. In the days that followed, she found herself constantly on edge, jumping at every shadow and every unexpected sound. As the weeks turned into months, Vanessa's fear began to consume her. She couldn't shake the feeling that the man was still out there, lurking in the darkness, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And as the store's closing time drew near, she would find herself glancing over her shoulder, half expecting to see his chilling figure emerge from the shadows. Vanessa's colleagues tried to reassure her, but their words offered little comfort. She knew that what she had experienced was no mere figment of her imagination, and she couldn't shake the sense that the man was somehow connected to the very fabric of the store itself. In the end, Vanessa's fear became too much to bear, and she made the difficult decision to leave her job at Walmart. As she walked out the door for the last time, She couldn't help but feel a sense of relief, but also a lingering dread that the man's malevolent presence would continue to haunt her, no matter where she went. Story 2. The Stalker. The second story Vanessa recounted sent a chill down her colleague's spine. It was a quiet night, and the store was bathed in an eerie silence that seemed to amplify every sound. As Vanessa patrolled the aisles, she noticed a man following her, his footsteps echoing ominously behind her. At first, she dismissed it as a coincidence, but as the man's presence grew more persistent, Vanessa's unease turned into fear. She quickened her pace, hoping to lose him in the labyrinthine aisles, but no matter where she turned, he was always there, lurking in the shadows. Desperate and terrified, Vanessa finally mustered the courage to confront the stalker, only to find that his gaze was cold and unyielding. With a smirk, he revealed that he had been watching her for weeks, studying her every move with a chilling obsession. Vanessa's blood ran cold as she realized the extent of the danger she was in. As the stalker closed in, Vanessa's heart raced and she felt a surge of adrenaline coursing through her veins. Without hesitation, she lashed out, using her self-defense training to fend off the man's advances. The struggle was fierce, and Vanessa found herself fighting for her life, her desperation fueling her every move. In the end, Vanessa managed to break free and make her way to the security office, where she reported the incident. The guards quickly sprang into action, scouring the store for any sign of the stalker, but he had vanished into the night, leaving no trace behind. In the aftermath, Vanessa found herself plagued by a constant sense of unease. She couldn't shake the feeling that the stalker was still out there, watching her every move, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. She found herself constantly looking over her shoulder, jumping at every sound, and her once peaceful nights were haunted by vivid nightmares of the encounter. The experience had shaken Vanessa to her core, and she began to question the very fabric of her reality. Was the stalker truly a figment of her imagination, or was he a real and tangible threat that lurked in the shadows of the store? The uncertainty weighed heavily on her, and she found herself struggling to find a sense of safety and security in the place she had once considered a second home. As the days turned into weeks, Vanessa's fear and anxiety only grew, and she found herself increasingly isolated from her colleagues. They tried to reassure her, but their words fell on deaf ears, and Vanessa felt as if she were trapped in a nightmare from which there was no escape. In the end, Vanessa made the difficult decision to leave her job at Walmart, unable to bear the constant dread and paranoia that had consumed her. As she walked out the door for the last time, she couldn't help but wonder if the stalker would ever truly leave her alone, or if the haunting memory of his chilling presence would continue to haunt her for the rest of her life. Story 3. The Mysterious Presence. The final story Vanessa shared was the most unsettling of all. It was a night like any other, with the store cloaked in an oppressive silence that seemed to suffocate the very air. As Vanessa went about her duties, a feeling of unease settled over her, as if she was being watched by unseen eyes. As the hours dragged on, strange occurrences began to unfold. Items would inexplicably topple off the shelves, and whispers echoed through the empty aisles, sending shivers down Vanessa's spine. Despite her rational mind's attempts to dismiss the phenomena, a sense of dread crept into her heart. In the dead of the night, Vanessa found herself drawn to the back storage area, where a sense of malice hung heavy in the air. As she navigated the maze of shelves, a chilling presence enveloped her, its icy fingers trailing down her spine. Just as she thought she couldn't bear it any longer, a figure materialized before her, its features obscured by a veil of darkness. With a voice that seemed to echo from the depths of the abyss, the figure whispered cryptic words that sent a shiver down Vanessa's spine. She felt a cold grip around her heart as she realized that she was not alone in the store, that something malevolent lurked in the shadows, feeding off her fear